Remember that cringeworthy Reebok campaign where Angel Reese tried flexing with her whole, "come to your trap, take over your trap" slogan? Yeah, well, congratulations are in order because Caitlin Clark didn't just come to the trap, she stomped in, flipped the lights on, and ran the place like she owned it, all while Angel Reese was mysteriously nursing yet another conveniently timed back injury. The irony is almost too perfect to believe. Clark rolled into Chicago and turned the United Center into her personal fan convention, signing over 200 autographs and causing absolute pandemonium on the sidewalks. Meanwhile, the so-called Queen of Chicago was nowhere to be found when it mattered most. This wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a masterclass in how real superstars handle pressure versus how manufactured ones crumble under it. The visual was straight out of a movie script designed to humiliate Reese. There's Clark, injured mind you, spending nearly half an hour making sure every kid got their autograph, every family got their photo, turning enemy territory into Fever fan headquarters. And where was Angel? Too busy dropping cryptic social media posts from the shadows, watching her moment slip away while Clark claimed what was supposed to be her city. But that was just the appetizer. What happened on the court was a full-course meal of domination that left Chicago looking like they'd never played professional basketball before. The Indiana Fever walked into a hostile environment without their franchise player and proceeded to dismantle the Sky so thoroughly that the final score actually flattered Chicago. Kelsey Mitchell came out like a woman possessed, torching the Sky for 35 points and hitting 7 three-pointers with the kind of precision that makes opposing coaches lose sleep. This wasn't just good basketball, this was a public execution disguised as a sporting event. Mitchell turned the United Center into her personal shooting gallery, draining shots from every zip code in the Windy City. From the opening minutes, you could see Chicago had no answer for Indiana's aggression and execution. Every time the Sky tried to mount some semblance of a comeback, the Fever slammed the door in their faces with the kind of ruthless efficiency that separates contenders from pretenders. Mitchell wasn't just hot, she was nuclear, moving through Chicago's defense like it was made of tissue paper. The beautiful thing about this performance was how it proved Indiana isn't just Caitlin Clark and friends. This is a legitimate squad with multiple weapons who know exactly how to execute when the pressure's on. While Chicago was scrambling and forcing shots, the Fever were moving the ball with surgical precision, finding the open man, and making the extra pass that championship teams make. Aaliyah Boston wasn't about to let her backcourt have all the fun. She took over the paint like she was collecting rent, posting 14 points and 11 rebounds while making Chicago's big women look like they'd never seen a basketball before. Every possession Boston touched turned into a clinic on post positioning and fundamental basketball. Boston's footwork was poetry in motion, her positioning was textbook perfect, and her basketball IQ made Chicago's interior defense look amateur. She wasn't just scoring, she was teaching a masterclass in how elite players imposed their will on inferior competition. The Sky's bigs couldn't cope with her physicality, couldn't match her timing, and couldn't handle her relentless motor. What made Boston's performance even more impressive was how she controlled the game without needing flashy moves or highlight plays. This was old-school domination, using technique, strength, and intelligence to completely neutralize anything Chicago tried to throw at her. Every rebound felt inevitable, every basket felt like a foregone conclusion. But the story gets even better when you look at Indiana's supporting cast. Michaela Timpson came off the bench like she'd been waiting her whole life for this moment, contributing crucial minutes that kept the intensity level maxed out. This rookie wasn't just filling time, she was making plays, forcing turnovers, and showing why championship teams need depth. The Fever's bench outworked, out-hustled, and out-executed Chicago's supposed core players. Arie McDonald dropped 10 timely points that felt like daggers in Chicago's coffin. These aren't just role players, they're professionals who understand their assignments and execute them with precision. That's the difference between a championship culture and whatever Chicago is trying to pretend they have. Indiana forced 17 turnovers by staying in passing lanes, communicating on defense, and making Chicago uncomfortable every single possession. The Sky looked rushed, confused, and completely overwhelmed by the Fever's defensive intensity. This wasn't lucky, this was systematic destruction of a team that came unprepared for war. Meanwhile, Chicago's problems run deeper than just one bad game. This was their 5th straight loss, and you could see it in their body language from the opening tip. They looked defeated before the game even started. When a team starts questioning themselves, starts playing not to lose instead of playing to win, the results are predictable and ugly. The Sky shot a miserable 31% from beyond the arc while Indiana was lighting them up at nearly 50%. That kind of gap doesn't happen by accident, it happens when one team is prepared, confident, and executing their game plan while the other team is hoping for miracles and playing scared basketball. Chicago got out-rebounded 42-35, which tells you everything about effort and desire. Indiana didn't have size advantages, they just wanted it more. They boxed out harder, attacked the glass with more aggression, and won the little battles that determine games. The Fever also dished out 24 assists on 34 made shots, moving the ball like a team that practices together and trusts each other. The turnover differential was equally damning. Chicago was sloppy, indecisive, and playing like strangers who just met in the parking lot. Indiana was sharp, purposeful, and executing with the kind of precision that takes months to develop. Those numbers don't lie. They tell the story of preparation meeting opportunity while unpreparedness meets reality. But here's what really separated these teams: defensive communication and rotations. The Fever helped at the right times, rotated with purpose, and made Chicago's offense look prehistoric. The Sky often looked lost, confused about assignments, and a step behind every play. That's coaching, that's culture, and that's what championship DNA looks like. Indiana did all this damage with smaller lineups for long stretches, proving this wasn't about overpowering anybody, it was about outworking them. They turned this into a track meet, something Chicago wasn't mentally or physically prepared for. That's tactical brilliance from the coaching staff and execution from players who believe in the system. The contrast couldn't be more stark. You have Indiana building something sustainable, something real, something that can withstand the pressure of playoff basketball. Then you have Chicago patching holes on a sinking ship, making excuses, and hoping injuries explain away their fundamental problems. One team is rising, the other is drowning in mediocrity. This game exposed Chicago's foundational issues: preparation, leadership, identity, accountability. They're not just losing games, they're losing belief in themselves and each other. Their coach looks like he's watching a slow-motion disaster he can't prevent. The front office has to decide whether to blow it up or keep pretending a miracle is coming. What makes this even more devastating for Chicago is the timing. This was supposed to be Angel Reese's moment to shine in her own city during the biggest weekend of the WNBA season. Instead, she ducked out with another mysterious injury while Caitlin Clark turned Chicago into her personal kingdom. The optics couldn't be worse if someone had scripted them specifically to humiliate Reese. Clark's impact transcends basketball. She shifts atmospheres, creates energy, and generates excitement just by existing in a space. She didn't need to play a single minute to hijack Chicago's energy and make it about her. That's generational star power, something you can't fake, can't manufacture, and can't market your way into having. The fans knew who the real draw was. They showed up hoping to catch a glimpse of greatness, and Clark delivered even from street clothes. She understood the moment, embraced the responsibility, and gave those people exactly what they came for. Meanwhile, Reese was posting cryptic messages on social media, watching her relevance evaporate in real time. This wasn't just a win for Indiana, it was a statement about what championship culture looks like. The Fever proved they're not just Clark and friends trying to ride one player's coattails, they're a complete team with depth, system, and the kind of mental toughness that separates playoff teams from lottery teams. When Clark returns to full health, this league better pay attention, because now you can't just load up on her defensively. You've got to deal with a battle-tested crew that's proven they can win without their superstar. That makes Indiana a nightmare matchup for anybody, and it makes their championship aspirations legitimate rather than hopeful. The younger core got invaluable experience executing under pressure without their security blanket. Mitchell emerged as a bona fide second option with killer instinct. Boston blossomed into a two-way anchor who can control games inside. The role players aren't just filling minutes, they're flourishing in their roles and elevating the team when called upon. That kind of depth is how you survive playoff wars, how you handle injuries, how you make championship runs. Because the road to a title isn't just about having the best player, it's about having the best system, the best preparation, and the best culture when everything's on the line. Chicago's season is spiraling toward irrelevance while Indiana is building momentum for something special. The Sky are clinging to hope while the Fever are creating their own destiny. One team is making excuses, the other is making statements. The difference is night and day, and it's only getting wider. So let's be crystal clear about what happened here. The trap has been officially taken over. Chicago belongs to Caitlin Clark now, whether she's playing or not. The manufactured rivalry between Clark and Reese is dead and buried, killed by the gap in talent, impact, and star power that was always obvious to anybody paying attention. Angel Reese can keep trying to attach herself to Clark's rocket ship, hoping for some splash damage fame, but the gap is widening every day. The money, the attention, the moments, they're all gravitating toward real greatness while manufactured hype gets exposed for what it really is. You can't fake your way into history, you can't controversy your way into greatness, and you can't social media your way into being better than you actually are. This game was the exclamation point on a story that should have never been a story. Clark is operating on a different level, in a different stratosphere, playing a different sport than everyone else. The Fever proved they're not just here to participate, they're here to dominate, with or without their franchise player on the floor. If you're finally seeing the clear difference between manufactured hype and actual greatness, between social media stardom and real impact, between trying to ride someone else's wave and creating your own tsunami, then you know what time it is. The Fever isn't just a team, it's a movement, and Chicago just got steamrolled by it.